discussed about uh, jQuery. Okay. So then we started with Ajax. So different concepts about brief introduction about the jQuery is given. Okay, so then we started with Ajax. Okay, so Ajax is allowing to uh, get the content from the server without wasting the time for loading the content. Okay, so here we are using one object which is an object of the building function XML HTTP request, okay, to perform the Ajax operation. So it's not a programming language. It is mainly used for exchanging the data between the browser and the server. Okay, so this is a technique for exchanging the data, not any programming language. So we have different methods and properties. These things we saw in our previous session. So there are three methods. Okay, one is Ajax request method, request get method, post method, and one more is Ajax method. Okay, so in this we already discussed about get method. So this is a syntax of get method with URL of the location where exactly the data is being, from where you are requesting the data. Okay, then this includes what data you want to send to the server, maybe a form data. Okay, it might be in the form of query string. And on completion, okay, uh, when you receive the response from the server, what function you would like to execute. Okay, so this is a function which will have the data from the server, okay, status of getting the data from the server, whether you are able to successfully get the data from the server, and there is one object will be created for further processing. And the last one is data type, indicating it's an optional. Okay, whatever you write it in the square bracket, those are all optional. And the last one indicates that what type of data you are expecting from the server. So this is the syntax of get method, using getting the data from the server. Okay. So this example also we saw. And coming to the post method. So in the post method, the syntax is identical to that of the get method. Okay. You can see here you are having URL, data, a function to be executed, data type, similar to the get method. And here the only the difference here is we are the syntax difference is we are using post instead of get. Okay, and we already know how the data is being sent using get method and post method, right? Which is secure, and all we saw in our module, first two modules we saw which method is secure and how much amount of data you can send using get method and post method. Okay, so here there is an example. This is an example using post method using jQuery. Okay, this is a URL, okay, from which you are through which you are accessing the server, and this is the data that you want to send. Okay, option is equal to C to the server, and remaining other parameters we are not passing. They are optional. Okay, so this is one example you can give. And coming to the next method, okay, apart from get method and post method, we have one more shortened form. So that is jQuery Ajax method. You can see here, this is one more method, jQuery Ajax method. Okay. So here, this method allows us to control many more aspects of our asynchronous JavaScript request, including modifications of the header and use of cache controls. Okay, so this is one more method of uh, perform asynchronous data transfer between the browser and the server. Okay. So here, coming to the syntax. Okay, so syntax is in the form of, this is a syntax. Okay, jQuery Ajax, dollar indicates it's a jQuery, and we are passing the parameters in the form of name and value phrase. You can see here, name colon value, name colon value. Okay. And here, in the first, it takes two parameters. Okay. Mainly, it takes two parameters. One is URL. Okay, first parameter is URL, and the second parameter mainly it takes plain object. Plain object. So these are the main two parameters. Okay. Also, this plain object is also known as object literal. Okay. So containing any of over 30 fields. So it can contain around 30 fields, which we discuss later. Okay. So here we have an example here. You can see, so this is a URL, okay, from which you are sending the request to the server. So this is the URL, and further these are different object, data we are sending. Okay, so here we have the data that we want to send it to the server. So which you can see here, it's an example. Okay. And what type of a method of communication between the server and the browser, whether you are using asynchronous data transfer or synchronous data transfer. Okay, so this is asynchronous data transfer to avoid the load time. And what type of method? Because there are two types of methods, right? Get and post method. So here you can specify what method of data transfer you are using, either whether you are using get method or you are using post method. Okay. So this is one way. This is one example, a raw Ajax method code to make a post, that is post method of transferring the data. So here there is one more, that is apart from these things, these name and value fields, we can also pass HTTP headers to the so we know that HTTP is a protocol that is used for transferring the communication in the web applications. Okay, so here HTTP mainly has three parts: header, body, and footer part. Okay, the header part has got their own information, which is meant for communication. So to this passing this HTTP header to the Ajax method, you can enclose as many as you put in the plain object. So here you can include a header, okay, and you can write some header information. Okay. So okay, which includes mainly, you can tell here you are using user agent, that means type of search engines you are using. Okay, type of search engine you are using, and what was your referrer page. Okay, which was your main website from which you are sending this page. Okay, so this oat.php you are getting from which page. Okay. So this is another information, adding header to the Ajax post in the jQuery. So this is one example without header. This is one more Ajax method, okay, which includes, apart from other basic data, it also includes a header information. Okay. So this is all about Ajax method. Moving on to the next topic, animation. Okay. So when you start, or when your developer starts to use jQuery, okay, so one of the main important attractive part of the jQuery is, okay, their feature in animation. Okay, so jQuery, they're often initially attracted to the easy to use animation features. So this jQuery supports animation features. Okay. So when used appropriately, this animation features can make your web application more professional and more engaging. You can make your website or web applications more professional using this jQuery animation concepts. Okay. So here in jQuery, we have different complex and different methods, okay, or we call it as a shortcut methods for animations. Okay. So here we have different methods like animate method, fade in, fade out, slide down, slide up. Okay, there are different methods. So, so one important feature in first we will discuss one important feature about the jQuery that is under animation is uh, hide and showing of the elements. So you can hide the elements. Element means you can hide the paragraph, or based on your requirement, you can show the paragraph to your user. So maybe, for example, for when you are viewing the website, when you are visiting the website, you are showing the news for around a few minutes. You are showing the news. After that, you are hiding that news. Okay, so such things you can do using jQuery. Okay. So here the hide and show method can be called with no arguments to perform default animations. Okay. The another versions allows two parameters. So hide can also take two parameters: duration of the animation, how long you want to show or you want to hide the elements, and the callback methods to execute on completion. Okay, so let me show you with the example. We have different methods, okay, to give animation effects like hide, show, play, slide, animation, stop, callback, chaining, and all. You can go through this. Okay. So here we have hide method. So you can see. So you can hide or show the HTTP elements. HTTP elements is nothing but any tags, paragraph, image, anchor, anything with this hide and show method. Okay. So here in our example, so this is our external link we are referring to execute our jQuery functions. Okay. So here there are two buttons. One is to hide, another one is to show. So on the ready of your page, we are using $hash hide. Hash is for what? ID. ID selected. So here you can see we have the ID hide. So we are using ID selected. So using jQuery, we are selecting the element which is a tag which is having the ID hide. Okay. On click on that button, we are calling this. So paragraph, what is this paragraph? Here, that is element selected. Okay. So $paragraph hide. Okay. So similarly, next when you click the show, what you are doing, you are showing the paragraph. This here hiding the paragraph. When you are click the button show, you are showing the paragraph. Okay. So look at this. So now initially when you load the page, you are having this paragraph. This is your paragraph. Okay. Now I click on this hide button here. The paragraph is hidden. So similarly, I click on show button. It is hidden. So you can see this is one of the easy and very important feature of animation using jQuery, hide and show. So likewise, we have different here. As we already said, it can sometimes take two optional parameters. So one is a speed, another one is a callback function. So speed is nothing but specify speed of hiding and showing and take the value slow, fast, or even in milliseconds. Here you can see here we are telling, okay, hide the element, okay, but slowly, okay, by taking how many 1000 milliseconds. Okay, you can pass one more uh, parameter, that is a function to be executed. So what function? After you hide or you show the uh, uh, a paragraph, what function you want to execute? Any functions you can execute. Okay, in that you can display some alert box or you can perform different tasks. Okay, look at this example. Okay, so here I am having the paragraph, two paragraphs. Okay, so hide is done using the speed here. Slowly it is hiding. Okay, slowly it is hiding the paragraph. So there are different examples. Go to this. Okay, so similarly, you can use it for even for the image. Okay, so you can see your image. Okay, how it is getting, how it is hiding the image. Next important thing is fade in and fade out. Okay, so fade in and fade out method, a shortcut method controls the opacity of the elements. Fade in and fade out. Fade in the element or fade out the element of visibility. So here the fade method can also take the parameters like similar to the show and hide method. Okay, it can take the speed as well as callback. So here we are having fade in, fade out, fade toggle, and fade to. There are four methods, but in the textbook they have highlighted only these two methods. Okay, so fade in. Look at this example. Okay, when you click on this button, we are going for the fading this dew. Okay. So next one is fading slow. Slowly you fade this dew 2. Okay. And the dew 3, what you are telling, for 3000 milliseconds, it is taking for the dew 3 to fade. How many? 3000 milliseconds. So see the output. Okay. You can see the difference. You can see this how slowly it is fading. See, slowly it is coming. Slowly it is fading in. Okay. So this is about fading. Similarly, you can also go for fade out. When you fade out, the display image should display, then you can fade it. You fade out. So this is two methods: fade out and fade in. So this is for fade out. This is for fade in. You can use the milliseconds here. It will disappear. So fade in and fade out. So this you can see, it will fade and it will be deleted. So here it will slowly increase its opacity, and it will display the image. Anything, display any elements. Here it is displaying the paragraph. Okay. You can try this example. Okay, fade in and fade out. Next one is slide up and slide down. So slide up would not touch the opacity of the element. Okay, that the display visibility will not touch, but rather change its height. Okay. So slide up and slide down, because So there are two view elements. One is a flip, another one is with panel ID. And here, when you click on this, okay, when I click on this, you can see what is happening. It is sliding up. Okay, when you click on this, hash click dot click, okay, that is this one, clicked up to panel. So this panel, which is a view, will be sliding. It will be, okay, it will slide up. Okay. We can go for the slide down. This is also similar. Okay. So when you click down, it is sliding down. You can use it for displaying some, like this animations. You can do it for displaying some important features. When you click this button, you can go for this button here. You click on this button, view more features. When you click this button, you can slide down some a paragraph and you can display some message. Okay, so like this you can do. So that is about slide down and slide up, that is using jQuery. This is for, you can see here, this is slowly, it is sliding down. Next feature is a toggle. So shortcut method comes in pairs, which may, we saw that different shortcut methods like fade in, fade out, slide up, slide down, they all come in pairs, which make them ideal for toggling between a shown and hidden state. Using the toggle method means you don't have to check the current state and then conditionally call one of the two methods. So here you can see there are three methods we are discussing: toggle method, fade toggle, and slide toggle. Okay. So each fade and slide has got a toggle method. So toggle is nothing but, it's like your LED toggle. Okay, so toggle is between hiding and visible in state. So like your LED, we have toggle state, right? Hide, blinking state. Okay. So the toggles between the visible and hidden state, okay, you can check it using toggle methods. So let's see with the example. So here we have button and paragraph. When you click the button, okay, the paragraph is toggled here. When you click the button, okay, it is hiding the paragraph, and both for hide and show you can use this toggle method. Okay. It will hide and it will show. Okay. Along with that, it is having given some optional parameters. You can check this optional parameters. One more is a fade toggle and slide toggle. So this is for fade toggle. So both you can do. Okay. You can fade when you click on this. Okay. Here. Okay. Now it is disappearing. Again, when you click on this, again it will appear in a fading position. Okay, increasing opacity. Yes. Okay, so this is about fade. And similarly, you can go for slide toggle. Okay, so that is for sliding sliding down and up both this paragraph. You can do both slide up and slide down using this slide toggle. You can both you can do slide up, slide down, slide up, slide down. Both you can do using this slide toggle function. Okay, so this is about toggle method. Okay, so for examples, you can refer W3 school. Next important method is animate method. Okay, so this is animate method has got different versions. Okay, and they have different parameter properties now. Okay, so this is a syntax. Mainly, it is having two important things. One is property, another one is options. Okay, so property parameter contains plain object with all CSS styles of the final state of the animation. The optional also contains plain object with any of the following options. The options can be any of this. Okay. So always means always function is a function. So always means it's a function is to be called when the animation completes or stops without with a fail condition. Okay, so always means a function to be called. What function you want to call once you complete or when you stop the animation. So done is almost similar to that. So done is a function to be called when animation completes. So duration is one more. Okay. So it's a number controlling the duration of the animation. Okay. So as we saw in fade in and fade out, like 3000 milliseconds, 100,000 milliseconds and all. Okay. The next one is fail, a function to be called when animation does not complete. Okay. So like this, you can give different functions. Okay. And even progress function. So one progress function you can use to be called after each step of the animation. Okay. For example, if you are giving 3000 milliseconds, for every 1000 milliseconds, you can call this progress function. So, and similarly, next one is queue. So queue is a Boolean value telling the animation whether to wait in the queue of the animation or not. So the next one is a step is a function. You can define that to be called periodically while the animation is still going on. Okay, so these are the names of the functions. Okay, these are all names of the functions. Always, done, duration, okay, step. Okay, likewise we have other options like using, special usings and all. These are different names you can give. It will be easy when I explain with example. Animate element by changing its height. So what we are doing here, we are using the CSS. Okay, we are using the CSS as I already said. Okay, in the animation we can specify the CSS value based on our requirements. See here, so these examples also you can view. Okay, and not only going for the textbook example, you can view your own examples. You can take it from the WP tools. So here I have a div and I have two buttons. When you click on the first button, you are giving animate, you are using animate method and you are specifying the height to be 300 pixels. When you click on the button 2, you are telling the height should be 100 pixels. Okay. So here animate height, now it is 300, reset, again it will become 100. Okay. So like this. You can use different CSS properties here. Okay, height, weight, color, background color, anything. Okay, so anything you can use in this animate method. Animate method performs custom animation of set of CSS properties. So this method changes an element from one state to another state using CSS. It specifies styles, speeding, easing, callback functions, okay, style. So style is nothing but the one we have specified here, CSS style. Okay, like this, you can specify all the styles, padding, the height, weight, right, letter spacing, whatever the CSS you have studied, okay, anything you can use. You can also specify the speed. Okay, the speed of displaying this, you can specify. Okay, so that also you can use. That is also optional. The next one is easily. So optional specifying the speed of the element in the different points of the animation. Swing. So move slower at the beginning or the end, but faster in the middle. So linear means moving in a constant speed. So callback functions. So those are the functions which I specified here, right? The function names. So these are the function names you can use. So like this, we are having different methods. Okay. So here you can see animate method which providing CSS. Okay, here we are having CSS height, weight, and we are having here our next here speed. Okay, it can be slow, fast, or in milliseconds. The next one, and here we are specifying only CSS. Okay. And here you can see we are using one function, start animation. We are calling the function. So, which is nothing but again we are calling the same function. So you can see that this is a function. We are again calling the same function, start animation. Okay. So this is a button here. What it is doing? Okay. It is giving the height, weight, okay, width and all. It is giving. Okay. Repeatedly, it is calling the start animation again and again. Same thing we are calling. First specify the height. Okay, move slowly. Next, specify the width. Width is nothing but width. Okay, this one. Width. Give the background color. Give again height 100. Make it 100. See, now it is width. Now 100. Okay, again width. You give it small 100. Okay, again repeatedly you do this. Okay, after one round of animation you complete. Again you same function you call again. So this is one simple animation. With this example also you can give. So let me see how different examples. So this is using progress bar. So you can see here. So here we are having, when you click the button, we are having animate function. So this is our animate function. Okay. With width, duration, easing. Okay. So slowly you show the animation, and we are using the step function. Okay. So each step, okay, we are using this mathematical function. Okay. See the animation. We are clicking on the here. It is calculating and it is displaying. So this is nothing but step function. Okay. So this step function is a function that can define that will be called periodically while the animation is still going on. So when this animation is still going on, we are calling this a step function. Okay. So which is taking like function it will be calling, okay, which is taking some mathematical functions. Okay. It takes two parameters. So now element with the current value of the CSS property. Okay. Uh, so here you can see this value for calculating the progress. Okay. So this mathematical function we are using. So this is current value. Okay. X is nothing but the current value. Okay. How much progress is done into 100 divided by 400. So this value will be displayed here. Some mathematical function we are doing for displaying the progress. Okay. You can see here. So for each step of when the animation is going on, we are calling this a function. Okay, so like this, there are different examples. You can go through that. You can give one of the examples. Okay, this is a textbook example which you have. Okay, I don't tell you to write this example. Okay, you can go for any of the example. So this is animate method which we are specifying the CSS property. Okay. So first parameter is a plain object with the CSS option. These are all CSS. Show opacity is equal to show font size 120%, margin right is equal to 100%. So this is CSS and this is a step function. So with the which includes step function. So here we are having two parameters. One is now, another one is fx. So now is nothing but with the current numerical value of the CSS property. So what is the current value of this? So now we'll give you the current CSS value. How much font size we are currently having 120%. How much margin right we are having 100 pixels. So now we'll give you all the current values. Okay. And second one is fx objects. This is fx object, which is a temporary object with this useful properties like the CSS attribute it represents. Okay. So it is used to perform some methods. So if the step method was called for the margin property, so here what we are doing, fx property is equal to margin right. We are changing the margin. Initially it was 100 pixel. Now what we are doing, we are using some mathematical operation and we are changing this margin. Okay. We are changing the angle with respect to the angle. We are changing the margin. Now here again we are having these three lines, correct? So these three lines are used for what? Okay, multiple rotation methods. So you can see here there are three different types of methods: transpose, WP transpose, MS transpose. So these are different rotation methods to work with multiple browsers. Okay. For different methods, for different browsers, we are using different rotation methods. For example, this is for Microsoft Chrome, Google, okay, Chrome, and this is for your Firefox, or this is for IE. For different browsers, we are using different rotation methods. Okay, so rotation is angle is specified using this mathematical function. Again, we are having duration. How this animation how for how many durations for how slow or how fast the animation need to be displayed. Okay, so that is done using this duration and using function. Okay. So this is about animate method. So next, moving on to the next important topic, that is MEC framework. So backbone of MEC framework. So this is one of the way or one of the technique that is used for developing the web application. Okay. So like you have your PHP, Python. Okay. So here also we are having one more way of developing the website, that is MEC framework. Okay. So here this is developed by Japanese technology, okay, for developing the websites. Here we are, this is MEC stands for model, M stands for model, view stands for view, okay, and C stands for controller. So here in the heading itself, we understand that MEC is not a programming language. Okay, it's a framework like what you have .NET. Okay, so like .NET, this is also a framework. Okay, so what programming language you have in .NET? We can go for VB.NET. Okay, or we can go for ASP.NET, or we can go for C#.NET. So these are all languages which can be used using this .NET framework. So .NET is a framework, and these are all your programming language, correct? Similar to that, here also for developing the websites, we are using MEC framework. Using this framework, okay, we use a language like Ruby on Rails. Okay. So Rails is a programming language that we are using on MEC framework for developing the your web applications. Okay. So like your Python or PHP, or Pearl. This is a separate brand, different way of developing the websites. So I will just briefly I'll tell you what is this MSC framework. Okay. So M stands for model. So in this model, what we are having is model will be having all the data. Okay. So model will be having all the data. Maybe it may be having some files, the data, or even the database. Okay. All the database, all the uh, tables, everything comes in the inside this model. Okay. And coming to the view is nothing but it is meant for displaying any information or anything to the user. So that is for front end. View is nothing but we'll be having the code for displaying front end display of the data to the user. For the client, for front end display, we are using this view. Okay. So this is model for storing the data. This is for display. Now imagine that we are using here, we are having this student information in the database. Okay. And view what it will do, it will display your student information, first student, second student, so on. It will display the student information. Now to fetch this student information and to display this student information, you need an intermediate something, correct? So that is nothing but your controller. The controller will be something like interacting your database, fetching the data or updating your database. Everything is done by the controller. Once the updation is done, that content will be displayed to the user using the view. Okay. So this is a simple thing about the model, view, and controller. Okay. So you can see this is an architectural pattern. Okay, there are different types of patterns we have when we go for developing the software. We have architectural pattern, we have design patterns and all. So MEC comes under architectural pattern that has a separate application into three main logics. Okay. So it is, what we are doing is we are developing the system by dividing the system into three important components. One is model, view, and controller. So when you go for this MEC control based developing the website using this pattern, it is more flexible approach, okay, for developing the applications. That means whenever you make any change to the model, it will not affect the other two components. Similarly, when you make any change to the view, it will have minimal or very less or no effect on other two components. Okay, so this is one of the main advantage of this MEC framework is flexibility of developing the websites. There is decoupling. Okay, so decoupling approach of developing the web applications. So here we are taking this example. Okay, so here we are having collection, model, and view. So here in the model, what we are having a table, okay, with the three fields. Okay, this is a table. We can take it as a table with the three fields: title, photo count, and publish it. So here, uh, this is like we are storing the album data. Okay, album data. The title will have the album title. Okay, photo count will have the number of count of photos for particular albums title, and whether this album is published. This is a boolean value. True indicates that album is published. False indicates that the album is not published. Okay. And here we have this model. We are creating an object of model for an object of model. Okay, that is an album list for interacting with this that comes under collection. Okay, so this is the object we are creating that interacts with this database. And similarly, we are having two view parts. One for displaying the album details by interacting with this model travel album. So this is a travel album model. Okay, we are creating the album travel album object for interacting, and we are rendering or displaying. This function is for displaying the uh, album information. Okay, then there is an app. Okay. The app is also meant for making any changes to the album information. Okay, so this is our database with album data with the title. Okay, first field is title, second field is photo count, and third field is published. Okay. So, so this is the object we are creating album list. Okay, this is meant for interacting with this database, and this is the object we are creating two objects. This is for displaying this album details to the user, and similarly this is for app. Okay, maybe for mobile app we are displaying this album details. Now moving on to the coding part. Let's move into the coding part. So here what you see here, this is a creating. So as I already said, there are three parts: model, view, and controller part. So first we will go for the model example, how to create the model. Okay. Now here in the code itself, okay, we are specifying, okay, how many tables we are having and what are the fields we are having. Okay. So this model part will create the database. Okay. Not like your PHP, we have to go for MySQL and you have to create the database, you have to create the table and all. Okay. So here what happens is, in the coding itself, we are writing everything and code itself will create the database. Okay. Now this is going to create the model part, which is nothing but the database, okay, with the name travel album. Okay. So with the three fields, one is title, okay, for storing the title, and photo count, which is initial value is 0, and published, uh, whether your album is published, which is also having the initial value as false. Okay. And this is a function which is to be called for publishing and unpublishing. So you are having what first is your title. Okay, next we are displaying the photo count, and there is one checkbox. Okay, so when you tick this checkbox, okay, you can uncheck or check or uncheck this field. So this is for this field published. Okay, so when you tick this, it indicates that your album is published. When you uncheck, it indicates that your data is, album is not published. So you can toggle, you can make the change for this checkbox, correct? So when you are making the change to this checkbox, which is for meant for publishing the data, publishing the album, so this is a method which will be called. Okay. So when you check, okay, so this is for checking and unchecking this publish field. Okay. So this is about model. Coming to the collection example. So model view and model view controller. Controller is nothing but the collector. Okay. So here we are creating the object album list. Okay, we saw here in the example, right? So here this is object we are creating, and this is object we have created for the model. What is the object? Travel album. Okay. Similarly, here we are creating the object under collection or controller. Okay. Now here we are creating the collection of albums. Okay, set the model type for the object in the collection. So we are using travel album, we are creating an object of model in this class, travel album, and return an array only with the published album. So this is a function that is used for getting only those field that is checked. Like I said that, okay, you can have different albums. Okay, this field checked or unchecked, correct? So assume that this is our first album, second album. You can give title for this and all. Okay, so assume that there are four albums. Out of this, these two fields are checked, okay, indicating that this is published and third one is also published. Second and fourth is not published. Now this function, what it will do, get checked. So get checked function, it will give only those albums which is having this checked field as a true. So checked is what? It is true. Unchecked means it is false. Okay, now we are getting only, we are interacting with the database. Okay, we are interacting with the database, and we are getting only those albums that is checked or that is published. Okay, and this is for refilling the collection with some albums. So this is updating your database. Okay, how many albums initially we have? We have only 4 albums. Now what we are doing? We are adding 2 more albums. Okay. So what is the title here? Title is this banner. Okay. Canada. Okay. Photo count is 42. Okay. So this is the title and the photo count. Okay. So 2 more albums we are adding. I give just 5 and 6. Okay. And we are indicating the photo count. What is the photo count value? 42 and 102. The photo count value is 42 and 102. And initially this is checked field is unchecked. Okay. It is blank. Okay. So this is about your collection or controller demonstrating backbone.js collection behind the whole of photo album. So this is for controller. Okay, controller is meant for updating your album checked or unchecked. Okay, getting all the checked fields or checked albums and updating with 2 more extra albums. Okay. Next, this is your view example. This is for you example. So here what we are doing is, so we are creating a travel album. Okay. Where you have your travel album, here it is. Okay. We are creating an object, or we call it as a variable. Okay. Now here we are using for displaying. So for displaying, how we have to display? We have to display it neatly, right? So we are using here li. So toggle name is li. Okay. Event click is equal to toggle album. So, so we are using certain functions. Okay. And here this is for initializing. Okay. So these are some prerequisites for before proceeding. Okay. We are initializing the model. Okay. And set up an event listener attaching to the changes. Okay. Whenever this is for initializing, whenever you make any database change, okay, maybe you are adding or whenever you are deleting, this is for perform any updating or rendering the change. Okay. So maybe you are adding, we had only 6 um, albums. Suppose if you are adding 1 more album here, okay, 1 more album here, if you are adding in the controller, display correct should be rendered. So for that we are using this initialize function. Next, this is for neatly displaying the albums to the user. So here at the front end, this is for front end. Okay. So how we are doing? We are using this HTML. So HTML we are using function, and what we are using here, input type is equal to checkbox, value is equal to 1. Okay. Name is equal to get the title. Okay. We are getting the title. Okay. I'm displaying the title, and we are getting the photo count, everything. Okay. And we are displaying the, we are getting that model dot get check whether it is checked or not. So this render function is used for displaying whatever the album details to the user. Okay. This is all about model view controller. Okay. Next topic is asynchronous file transmission. We'll see in the next class. I think next class we will go for this topic, asynchronous file transfer.